back to my channel. My name is True Princess, and thank you so much for tuning into my video. So today's video is actually going to be a story time. I've been wanting to do a story time for a very long time now, and this story time, as you can tell from the title of this video, this story time is about this guy that I met, and he basically told me to get out of his car because he didn't want to buy me food, basically. So right, let's go back to, I think this was 2020. I think this is like about early 2020. It was just after lockdown. So early 2020, just after lockdown, I was on Facebook and I met this guy this guy DM'd me on Facebook. What am I gonna call him? I'm gonna call him Mr. G. Mr. G, because his surname has a G. So I'm gonna call him Mr. G. And like, if you guys are wondering, I am in a perfectly amazing relationship now. Like, all these stories that I'm telling are just for you guys is laugh. I just want to laugh with you guys because I just find it so hilarious that guys can just be so mean. And this one specifically, this one used to hate me. He hated me. And my boyfriend doesn't really mind, like, when I tell story times. He said he doesn't mind. Anyway, I met this guy, Mr. G. So I met Mr. G on Facebook. He DM'd me and he was like, oh hi, you know, like those guys, like, hi, how are you, you're so pretty, blah blah blah. And we started talking in the DMs on Facebook Messenger, whatever, you guys get it. So we started talking, like, hi, how are you? And you know, I went through his pictures and he was okay, and he was driving this nice car, you know. We started talking and then we eventually exchanged numbers. And you know what I've realized about these men, like, when you talk to them on the phone, they are the nicest people, but as soon as you meet them in person,
no ma'am,
because they are just completely different people. So I met him on Facebook and we started talking, and then we exchanged numbers. We started talking on WhatsApp, and when we started talking on WhatsApp, he seemed cool, like whatever. And I was going through my single girl like phase, like, you know, I'm like open to talking to people here and there, and you know, I was single, so like, why not? And also we had been locked in, like we had lockdown for like 3 months, and I was just excited to like meet people, like go out, you know, that type of stuff. So at some point he was like, you know, I was still living in town at the time. I was staying in a flat in town, which was another crazy experience that I might make a story time on. We met, before we met, he was like, no, I'm gonna come see you at your place, blah blah. So where I stayed in town, I stayed at like a girls only complex, so there were no boys that were allowed to come inside of the, you know, of the buildings. So he was like, no, I'm gonna come see you. I didn't tell him that, you know, I was just like, whatever. He was like, no, I'm gonna come and see you. I was like, okay, cool, you can come through. I mean, I sent him my location and he came, because I don't want to say which car he was driving, because I don't want to be in people's business like that, because I don't even think it was his. I think it was his girlfriend's car, but asiko lapho.
Wait!
Why am I in people's business? Anyway, so he came, and when he came, I had my natural hair. I didn't have braids, I didn't have a wig. I had my natural hair tied up in a bun. If I find a picture of myself with my natural hair, I'll insert it for you guys so you can see that I had like long, beautiful natural hair. There was nothing wrong with it. This nigga had a problem, because as soon as he pulled up and he saw me, he was just like, he was sitting in the car. It was him and his friend. His friend was in the passenger seat, and he was like, oh hi, how are you? And it was weird because I pulled up and I stood on his window, like, and his friend was there, so I couldn't even like chat to him properly. And he was just like, oh, we talked kancane, and then I sat in the back seat, then we spoke, and then he was like, oh, what are you doing today? He was like, me and my friend, we are going to be drinking later on today. We're gonna have just some chilled vibes. Do you wanna come with us? We can like chill and drink, nothing much, nothing hectic. I was like, okay, sure, like why not? So I got in the car. I went upstairs. I changed. He was like, okay, just go and change and just look pretty. As if I didn't look pretty already. He was like, just go change and look pretty, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, whatever. I went upstairs, I changed. I looked presentable. I put on a red lip. And I got in the car and we left. So we went somewhere in Umhlanga. He was one of those boys that, backstory on him, didn't have a 9 to 5 because he always used to post himself shopping and eating out. But I mean, I never used to see him, you know, doing anything. And when I asked him what he did for a living, he couldn't answer me. So we pulled up at that place in Umhlanga. And then it was like sort of like a guest housey thing, but because I didn't know him, I thought, okay, maybe that's his house. So it was just so boring. Like there was a couple there. There was this other friend there that was there, and there was another girl there. It was just weird. So we just came in, we chilled, we drank, and then we went back outside. And I was like, I want to smoke habli. At that point, it was just the two of us. The other friends had just left randomly, so there was just the two of us just sitting there randomly by the pool. Like I was smoking heavily. That's when I asked him, like, what do you do for a living? I don't even remember what he said, but I was like, okay, whatever, I just want to drink and have a good time. So I drank, and then we spoke, like we had a conversation, but I could tell that no, man, we're not really like clicking. Like we're not clicking. Like our energies are not connecting, and we're just not vibing, you know. So we drank until about like later on that day. Then we drove to Newlands to his friend's house. Then we chilled there. And honestly, when we got to Newlands, he was like, I mustn't get out of the car. I was like, he was like, no, don't get out of the car. And I was like, why? I was just like, yeah, that guy was just so, you know those men that are so difficult to read? He was so hard to read. I was just like, you know what? Okay, whatever. At this point, I was starting to get a little bit lit. And then later on, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go home. And then, fine, that was it. Then like 2 weeks or a week later, he hit me up again. He was like, oh, hi, how are you? What are you doing on the weekend? Blah, blah, blah. I'd like to see you. I was like, okay, fine. I don't mind. I can come see you. And this time, my hair was done. Ne? So he pulled up to fetch me. And then as soon as he saw me, like I got in the car. This time he was by himself. As soon as I got in the car, he was like, oh my God, okay, today, now you look pretty. Now you look pretty. You look so pretty. He was just so, I got in the car. I hadn't eaten that day, and I was a little bit hungry when I saw him. And I was like, okay, you know what, like this nigga is gonna buy me some food, because why would you invite me and why would you want me to go out anyway with you, and you don't even like buy me food, you know? I was like, okay, fine. I got in the car and we left. We went back to the place where he was living. We went to the place, we chilled. And I'm like, I'm hungry. I told him, I was like, I'm hungry. Like he had bought like iced pears and what else was there? I think there was Jägermeister. I was literally like, I'm hungry. I'm not going to drink this alcohol if I'm hungry. And his energy was just like, his attitude was so, he had like this stinking attitude. I was just like, oh my God, God help me. Like, why did I even come here? Like Ngangi is so like, guys, like I was like, why did I even come here? Like, why did I even bother? Child, I told this man that I'm hungry. You know what he said to me? He said to me, when awudlanga yini endlini yakho? He said to me, "You always hungry. Didn't you eat at your place?" He was like, "Don't you buy groceries at your place?" I was shook. I could not believe it. I was like, okay. Ngayiqoqa ubuso bami ngabuyisela back. Ngabuqoqa ngathi yazini, I'm just gonna suck it up. I went into that fridge. I don't even remember. I think there was like pizza or whatever. He didn't even care. He was just like, I think there was like pizza in the fridge. So I opened the fridge and I ngafuthumeza leyo pizza ngadla. I woke up in the morning. My stomach. I am starving. This nigga is starving me. Yo, ngangi so like you know when you're in the stage in your life where you let niggas just play you. I could have been at my place. I got in the shower, I got dressed, I got ready because Vele, I had to go to my place. Vele, I was like, okay, you know what, fine, Vele, I'm leaving this morning. I was pissed. I couldn't even talk. I could not even talk. Lapo, you know those cocky men that if they can see that you are upset and there's something wrong, they will start cracking jokes. He was cracking jokes. He was laughing. He was saying all these things. And I was just like, you hate me. You literally hate me. That's okay. You know what? It's fine. That's, you know what, Vela, I'm going to my place. I don't care. If you know Durban, you'll know. Do you know Coastlands Hotel? There's a Coastlands. There's a Coastlands. Yo, I don't know. I forgot what it's called, but I'll insert the name of the hotel at the bottom. When you pass that hotel, there's like a circle. That circle that is opposite the garage. There's a McDonald's that's there. That McDonald's by Gateway. You know that McDonald's with the drive-through. He pulled. I'm thinking we're going straight. We're going to town. No, he pulls up into the McDonald's, and I'm like, ha. Now, after how many? I slept in an empty stomach. Now you wanna pull up in a McDonald's. I was like, oh, okay, keep quiet. He goes into the McDonald's, yes, in the drive-through, and he asked me. He's like, what do you wanna eat? And I looked at him. I was like, Lord. He was like, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? Because now we're at the drive. I said, I don't want to eat anything. I don't want your food. I don't want you to buy me anything. Because, bruh, this nigga, I'm not even going into detail. This nigga had been giving me an attitude, dude. He'd given me an attitude. He was being mean. He was being nasty. He was making jokes. He was cracking jokes. He didn't care about, like, he hated me. I'm like, I don't want anything. I don't want you to buy me anything. He was like, oh, I don't have time for this, blah, blah, blah. Now we're pulling up to the lady now. Oh, we've pulled up to the thing, the thing where you place your order. I was like, I don't want anything. Then he ordered, I think he ordered 2 Big Macs and drinks. And I was just looking at him like, I'm ready to go home. I don't care. And then we pull up to the lady to collect the food. You know when you have to collect the food, the lady will give you the food. The lady will give him the food. And in order for him, he can't, like, he has to give the food to me. And it's because so that he can collect the drinks. The lady gave him the food, ne? The lady gave him the food. He was about to give the food to me. I just looked the other way. I was so mad, guys. And another thing with me, like, if mina uzokhulumela ukudla, I'm not gonna eat it, because you are busy being stingy, and you have this mentality that mina I wanna eat your money, and guys, then the drinks come. Then he takes it. He just puts it himself in the back seat. I'm still facing the window. I am looking at the window, child. I don't care about him and his burger. Then the drinks come. He does the same thing. Oh, I turn around and I look back again. Yo, now I can see that he's getting mad. As soon as we pull out of the drive-through, he's like, yabo nje lento yenzayo-ke nje manje le nto yenzayo-ke nje mina ngeke ngihambe nawe nje ngicela ungiphumele nje la emotweni yami.
What?
He was like, I don't like your attitude and the way that you're acting, so just get out of my car. I'm gonna request you an Uber. Yo, guys, I can still remember this day vividly. I was wearing a yellow dress. I remember. I looked so good. I had my lashes on. I had a natural skin glow. Nje, I just looked good. Futhi get that area Vale is busy, so there's Ubers everywhere, from Gateway to like by the beach, the other side, blah blah blah. There's Ubers everywhere. The Uber was there within a heartbeat. I took my bags from the back and I got out of the car. I got out of the car and I got into the Uber and I left the food in the back seat.
Open the fuck up!
He thought ukuthi mhlawumbe I was, how man, what's up, Mr. Chi? Please, I don't care. I was like, you know what? Thank God you're actually doing me a favor by requesting me this Uber so that I can go home, so that I don't have to see your ugly face and your stinking attitude. I left. The Uber dropped me off. I got into my place and I made myself a nice meal and I sat and I ate. And the way that this man was so evil, like the Uber hadn't even pulled out of the McDonald's, and I looked on my phone. Obviously he was the last person that was on my chats, because I mean he had been calling me to be like, I'm downstairs the previous day. He blocked me.
That's weird.
He blocked me. How are you blocking me when you are the one who was starving? Ooh, shocking behavior. He was delusional. I was like, okay, fine. You know that sense of, when I got to my place, I was so relieved. I was like, oh. Because, wow. I just ended the chats between him and I. I didn't block him back. 2-3 weeks later, he starts calling me. He had the nerve, after what he did to me, to call me. Yes, when he called me, I just looked at the phone. Never long I bought phone. Guy dropped a call. And I think he texted me something like, oh, I was on phone, all that stupid stuff that men do. And that is my story of a toxic man. I hope you guys enjoyed that story time. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys have also your toxic story that you want to share, please share them down below. And please don't forget to like, to comment, subscribe, to share this video with your friends. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.